Hello.
Hi,
Hi. But
so
I
good.
think
How are you?
I'm well. I'm better. I can say that. How about you?
Good. That's good. I'm good. Just been busy, you know. Uh, I hate saying that, but
Right.
I've been good. I've been good. Just trying to stay grounded, focused, and pacing myself. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
But there's a lot of activities, between the activism starting to, the business is starting back up because New York is reopening
Right.
and doing a lot of community work and plan and stuff like that.
Right. So
Yeah.
let's touch a little bit on activism. I've seen
Uh-huh.
the pictures and some videos that you've posted online. Can you tell me a little bit
Yeah.
about that?
Well, yeah, we've been from the last time I spoke to you, there were a bunch of rallies with young people happening. Young people are feeling very involved. Well, for those who don't know. So, after the video that went viral of George Floyd, an African American that was killed in the hands of officers, which reminded us of 6 years ago, Eric Garner situation, which happened on Staten Island. Um, People are fed up, and the entire nation has just really been. It's like awoken, and black people are fed up. And it's sad to say. I mean, as a Nigerian, I will say that um, rest in peace to our sister Tola. And, we need to not only recognize that Nigerians and Africans are part of the movement because, not enough of that is told. And the co-founder of Black Lives Matter also happens to be a Nigerian. Um,
Right.
this needs to be put into context. So where am I getting at? Is that we Africans, we Africans in the diaspora are just as involved and are activated and exercising our voice, our with with the movement, for the movement, and part of the movement. Because let's not wait till something happens to one of us that we feel that at that point we need to be active and engaged. So we're
Right.
looking for police reforms. That's what the movement is about. And on, rather fortunately, it's happened at a time where COVID-19 is really overwhelming the world, and we're looking at new normals and what does that look like. So yeah, that's all that's been happening. That's what you're seeing, part of what you're seeing, and people need to wake up here in the diaspora and in Nigeria as well, and in Africa. We need to stand up and rise up and demand change.
Right. Absolutely. So did you follow the story of Toyin, the girl that was
I did.
yeah.
I did follow the story, and I'm still following the story because we still haven't gotten justice. She was, I mean, I don't want to rehash the story, but I know that she was killed by a black man, so it's
Right.
alleged, and that she was very active in terms of in Texas, advocating for transgender society, community rather, not society.
Right.
Um, and that she was murdered. And I think we have to, as Africans, we must wake up at this point and rally around any of us that is killed, that is murdered unjustly. I mean, that's murdered. Period. We need to get involved. And I've been seeing, more activism, more involvement from the African community, and we need to step that up.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually something I wanted to touch on. I've been doing a couple of interviews with people, and
Hmm.
there's been a rise in African involvement in the
Yeah.
movement. So I wanted to ask, why do you think that is?
Well, a couple of things are happening. I think that we have seen, first of all, you have a president who is out of touch, who is completely not there. And I say that because before COVID-19, you had the ban, the ridiculous and the illegal, I call it illegal ban that they placed on Nigeria and other African countries. And they're racist in it's a racist agenda to continue to diminish African and Black immigrants who contribute just like the African Americans who built this nation. And what that says is that in 2020, Blacks who contribute immensely to the economic vibrancy and stake that America has and wheels in the world, that we still are not, we still are considered or looked at as second class citizens. So what happens is there was the ban on Nigeria, there was the COVID-19 that showed the disparity and the inequity and inequality that existed, because the folks that were dying the most were Africans, African Americans, Black people. And
Right.
if you look in terms of even education, there's a lack of equity and equality. And these issues are not just from today. This is systemic. These are the root causes of racist and institutional racism that this country still has not addressed to today. So all of those give rise to police brutality that you're seeing, give rise to lack of employment for those who are qualified, people that are Black and brown that look like us. And I think people are fed up. And I think seeing a Black man killed with such impunity, like George Floyd was murdered, that has really woken people up. And I think enough is enough. And people are really, um, saying that they're fed up. And thank you so much. Saying that they're fed up and really just a change has to happen. And you know what I love about it is that young people, again, we said, why are Africans being more involved? Young people as well, young Africans, young African Americans. And that's very hopeful to see. As someone who's been an activist for many years, that's something that it's inspiring for me right now to witness.
That's right. Absolutely. So another rise that I've seen is I guess Gen Z or the millennials, the white millennials.
Generation Z, I think it is.
Right, Gen Z. Yeah.
Yeah,
So they've been standing up to their parents, you know.
yeah.
Been seeing the Karen videos, Karen's Gone Wild videos, and
It's gone wild.
you're you're seeing white allies, joining the movement. Why do
Yeah,
you think
I
that
think
is?
that's great. I think that you know, you had the generation before that. Um, I think what's happening is you had COVID-19, so people were home, right? And it gave
Right.
people an opportunity to really get to research and get a perspective. I think it's a mixture of a couple of them, but that's a common observation that I've heard, that because of the lockdown, people had an opportunity to do a lot of research, do a lot of reading, see things from a perspective. It allowed us to stop and slow down.
Mm,
Oftentimes, when everybody's busy, and the timing of the George Floyd killing, behind 6 years ago,
wait,
killings in the same light.
I think, I
Can you hear
think
me?
you might have to repeat what you were saying. It was going on and
Did I
over.
was I frozen? Did I freeze? Was
Yeah,
I
you were
frozen?
a little bit.
So basically, I feel that because people were home and they had access to um, they had access to they had time rather to read what was happening in the media, and all of our attention was fixed on, I guess, things that really mattered.
Right.
So I feel that the timing had everything to do with it.
Okay.
And Generation Z, as they say, is the most connected through internet and social media. And it's a video that went viral. So
Right.
from that point, you know, and then the lockdown, people wanted to go out and participate and partake in activism. So it's it's the mix, it's the combination, I feel.
Right. Right. Absolutely. So now on to Nigeria.
Yeah,
Your favorite topic.
you know it.
So, have you been keeping up with, the crisis, the APC crisis, everything going on with the government?
A
What do
little
you
bit.
think of
I mean,
that?
there's just too much. I feel that, and in my capacity as the president of Nigerians in the diaspora, I have to look. I don't really support either party,
Okay.
APC, PDP. I think what they've done is, they've set up infrastructure that allows for rigging and that allows for, um, there's lack of transparency there. So when you see what happened to Adam Oshomole and is it Tinubu, or you know you got the same players who are being recycled, and there's a lot of young talent, that talented folks that need to be given an opportunity to be players in the political system in Nigeria. I'm not seeing enough of that. So here's the message that I'm going to say.
Okay.
I feel that the more you have the same recycled politicians, the more confusion and the lack of progress that you will continue to see. Somebody said APC, what? Leave the politics, right? I think that it's true.
He
People
said
know
one pandemic at a time.
that's right, and that's what's happened. This is the year of pandemics. But
Basically.
what I feel is that if government was really focusing on getting results and bringing about systemic change, which they talk about ending corruption, they talk about empowering the youth. I don't see enough of that happening, and unfortunately, you have politicians who are not being voted on based on their deliveries, based on what they're doing for community, but more much money they've got. So for me, I feel like that whole political system is in shambles, and I feel that they fail the people all of the time.
Hmm.
And the reason I'm saying that is because you see more political movement than you see any progress being made for the people. And when I say that in terms of the pandemic, I have folks that I was talking to that out of job, they're starving. They have no means of generating income. And you have here this debacle with politics going on. Service the people, service the people.
Okay. Okay.
Olare says APC is a bunch of hypocrisies, no conscience. I agree with you. So what can we do about it, Olare? At Olare, what can we do?
That's the guy that was talking earlier, by the
Yeah, so what can we do?
way.
He
I
was
know.
talking. He's talking about wanting to come to America. You got to stay in Nigeria and fix Nigeria, man.
He has his
Amer-
girlfriend.
yeah, let your girlfriend come to Nigeria and help out. He says revolution now.
I
What you
can't.
what you know about revolution, brother? You got to start the revolution in Nigeria first.
I think they're trying.
Yeah. Well,
They're trying. But
let
they
me
need
know.
more hands.
He said he was gonna visit. Well, Larry, don't visit, man. Nigeria needs you, brother. Nigeria needs you. Believe me. America doesn't need you here. We don't need you in America. We need you in Nigeria.
So,
We
so I believe 167 Nigerians have returned.
Yeah, so
from
far.
South Africa. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then the government said they were going to pay for their flights and all of that stuff. It didn't
they
happen.
were stranded.
Exactly. And this is what I'm talking about. We have a lot of work to do in Nigeria, and the politicians are too concerned about how to secure the bag and how to secure their positions.
Hmm.
You know, So I
I mean,
think
you said it all.
no, you know me, I keep it real.
You
I
said
keep it
it all.
real.
Basically. You said it all. So, do you follow Hank
Hank,
from the Black Lives Matter? I think,
I do follow a bunch of the other guys. I follow Sean King
okay,
more than I follow Sean King, who's got a grassroots movement, who is actually responsible for a lot of the results that you're seeing.
okay.
I don't know if you follow him. You should follow him, like
I don't
Sean
think I,
King. Man, you should
Sean.
follow him. Sean King is like the truth.
King.
He's actually created an infrastructure. Yeah, Mazaro said Sean King. Yeah, Sean King. He actually has an
Oh,
infrastructure.
Sean King. I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Of course, I
you
know
couldn't
him.
hear me. Okay, so he's actually got an infrastructure that connects the movement to result and the pressure points, and
Okay.
that's what we need. I know Opel. Opel is Nigerian, and she's one of the founders. Do you follow her, Opal?
I
OPAL?
don't follow her, but I
You
know
should,
the
man. She's a
co-founder.
sister. Yeah, she's a sister that you should follow. She's definitely, waving the flag. When I say waving the flag, in terms of getting the message out there, she's
Okay.
someone. She's someone definitely to follow. And we need to follow our women. So I like what you're doing, Fatima. You're keeping the topics that need to be on the front burner on the front burner. That popular culture is great, but there are things that are happening that's being missed out because we're following artists, this artist, that artist, and we're
And
following
yeah.
we're following uh, rumors
Right.
and all those sort of things. There's a lot of things happening right now. I think right now is the time to really galvanize all those who are doing grassroots community work and give them the platform. Hear them out. But we want people who have actionable items, actionable steps.
Right. Right. So the reason why I brought up Hank,
Mm-hmm.
no, Hawk. His name is Hawk Newsom or Newsman. Yeah, Newsom. Hawk Newsom actually.
Mm-hmm.
So he basically did an interview with Fox, I
Mm-hmm.
believe. And in the interview he basically said Black Lives Matter, um they need to give up. They want what they want, and if they don't get what they want, everything should be burned down. So that's a quote that been circulating.
Revolution.
Apparently Trump apparently Trump tweeted
Responded
about
to
it.
him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He basically tweeted about it, and he was basically trying to put flame to the fire, add flame to the fire,
Yeah,
saying
because that's what
basically
he
this is
does.
what they want to
That's what he's talking
burn
about.
down
Yeah.
the place. Yeah. So
You know, Trump. Right now, Biden is leading him in a very large margin. So he's got to be able to create and sensationalize any soundbite right now and use that to try to galvanize his base, rile up his base. That's how he functions.
right, right.
Hey Joe,
Speaking of,
do me a favor. Can you cover up the food in the back?
give us a second, guys.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that.
Don't
Stop
worry,
coming.
I'm about to wrap up. I know you're a busy man.
It's always a pleasure to
So
be on here. I take your invitations very seriously.
thank you very much. So yeah, speaking of which, elections was on Tuesday.
June 23rd. Yeah, June
Right.
23rd.
It was on Tuesday. Did you vote?
Of course. You know me.
Okay.
I posted
I,
about it.
I had to make
I
sure
I voted
I did
early
as
in the
well.
morning. I've never not ever voted. I take voting very seriously because voting is a form of activism. And I pray that all those people who were rallying in the streets voted, because oftentimes people take voting for granted, you know. So voting is
Right.
very, very important.
Right. What
Did
makes
you
this
vote?
election?
Did you vote? Did you
Of
vote?
course. Of course I did. I had to do the affidavit vote because I
Yeah,
had
that's
moved
good.
and
Yeah,
it wasn't reflected. So I would have had to go
gotcha.
all the way to Brooklyn. So I said, "Oh
Gotcha.
no, I had to." Yeah, but I made it work and I voted
That's
most
good. I'm
definitely.
proud of you. Good job.
Thank you. Why do you think this election? What makes this election different from others?
Well, because we're at a defining moment, and we have to get Trump out of the White House, you know. And I think every election feeds the top.
Oh,
So people voting builds up momentum for November, and which is really October. October, we have to come out in numbers and really make sure that we use our vote to demonstrate our power. If that does not happen, we're going to have 4 more years of craziness, madness, pandemic on pandemic.
hmm,
So this year really matters, and we have a real opportunity to vote him out. And you know, all politics is local, so that means everyone should be engaged in their district, and they should be involved in their local political parties.
right, right. So, as a president of the Nigerians in the diaspora, how are you guys getting involved? Because the election, of course, is gonna affect not only Nigerians but Africans out here in the diaspora as well. So,
Absolutely. So tomorrow we're having a forum which is led by the young professional, the Nigerian young professional in the diaspora, and I sent you that information. So the forum is from 11 to 2 p.m. You'll have all the council generals are going to be on there, along with the Honorable Abike. And these are steps we're using to engage our young professionals, not only as it relates to the diaspora, but at the same time, we want to mobilize people locally as well. We want to get Nigerians more involved and enrolled in local parties so that we can, again, speak truth to power in terms of our involvement and engagement. The more we get involved, the more they value our presence in this nation. Historically, you know, Nigerians and Africans have shied away from politics, but I can tell you more and more. I mean, I ran for political office. I ran for state assembly just a
right.
year ago, and more Nigerians and Africans are becoming more engaged politically, and they're also participating not just by voting, but also running for political office. This time alone, we had a lot of assemblymen to judges, and I think this is what we want to see more of. So this year is very, very important,
Okay.
actually.
Amazing. So one last question. If you don't have anything else, Hush Puppy.
Mm.
I don't know if you've been following the
Oh my
story.
God.
I have to ask you
Yeah.
about it because this is international
Yeah,
and
no, it's good.
know,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
No,
So
it's good.
what
I'm
is your
glad
take
you
on
asked.
the whole case?
I think that it's a good thing that's happening. But we also should allow for due process. Um,
Okay.
I've I've personally found it problematic when all of these overnight successes or social media celebrities who are flamboyantly flashing their ill-gotten wealth, and one doesn't know how they attain these wealth, and they're making it seem like you can be rich without working for it. And what's
Hmm.
unfortunate about that is that it sends the wrong message to the youth of Nigeria, the youth of the world, that there's always a shortcut. And you know what it really does? Me as a Nigerian, as a hardworking Nigerian who, you know, strives to create legitimate businesses here in America and hire. You know, my restaurant I'm in now, we have 15 people that work for us here. It tells the youth, the people younger than me that, oh, you don't have to do it the way I'm doing it. You can do it the Yahoo way. And that's not right. Not only is it not right, but it also makes it where they're mixing the hardworking Nigerians up with the criminals, and then what happens? We get marginalized and stereotyped based on the guys that are doing the criminal acts, who not only are they saying that, yeah, this is the lifestyle we're living, but that they don't even have any plan or goal or vision to end their criminality, you know. Um, and I think that the Nigerian government also has to use this opportunity to look. This is an opportunity to look at themselves in the mirror and say, what kind of example have we set? So if you have politicians who are stealing money in the Nigerian government, where now it's become a trend that people feel like I want to get into that position so I can steal money, it's the same thing as what Hush Puppy is doing. You know, they're using a shortcut to enrich themselves at the cost of innocent people. So it's an opportunity now to have a conversation and talk about politicians who are also embezzling money, who are also stealing and living lavish lives in Nigeria or abroad. So I think it allows for us what kind of standards that we're setting and how we as a
Right.
country are being viewed by the rest of the world.
Okay, amazing, amazing. Thank you so much for joining us.